Hello, good afternoon and welcome to my Railway Bedstead Junction. This afternoon we are looking at a Dean Goods locomotive, and we'll just give you some brief facts about the locomotive while she's going round, and then we'll stop her and have a little look, and we'll have a little look at the train too. Now, in 1877 William Dean became the chief mechanical engineer of the Great Western Railway, or the chief locomotive engineer, and he took over from Joseph Armstrong, who passed away sadly, unexpectedly. And in 1883 the first of these locomotives were produced. They were called the 2301 class, and they were built at Swindon, and 260 were built between 1883 and 1889. Now in 1917 62 of these in the First World War went to France, and in 1918 14 went off to Salonika. And then two went on again to further serve with the Ottoman Railways in Turkey, and they went on to 1950, so they had a long distinguished service. In World War II 100 went off to France, 79 went to France of the 100 that were requisitioned by the War Department. Some of those after the Battle of Dunkirk were captured by the Germans and used it as part of the German railways. Now after the war ended, 54 of these went into BR service. So remember the fact that we're talking in 1948 was the nationalisation of British Rail after the Second World War. 54 of these went into service, having been the first one being built in 1883. And then they were finally, the last one was withdrawn in December of 1957. Which is the same time that I was born, actually, believe it or not. I was born in 1957 on the 26th of December. And only one of these remains in preservation. It's owned by the National Railway Museum, but I believe it's still at Swindon Locomotive Works. There's a railway exhibition there of railways, which I went to some years ago. And I think I've actually stood right by the preserved one. The one that was preserved is number 2516. Now we'll come on to the model itself in just a moment. Oxford Rail. Now I don't very often do unboxings, generally because I'm holding my phone in one hand, so an unboxing is a little bit more difficult. But we can have a look. We can see Oxford Rail in pursuit of excellence. Double O gauge railways, 176 scale. That was the outer box, that's what you'd see. And on the inside, you would actually see the locomotive in the window there. Now we'll take a look at the other packaging. And then it came in an inner packet like this. When you remove that outer sleeve, you can see the block of ice package in there. And inside is the detail pack. It's got the brake rigging. I think it's got a spare front coupler if I remember rightly, and a few other detail parts. It's just all the general things you find in a detail pack, which can be fitted should you choose. I haven't got around to it yet. Okay, so that's what the box looks like from Oxford Rail, and to me it was a tremendous bargain. Now we're going to bring her around to to my usual viewing point, and we'll have a good look at her. We'll bring her along a little bit. Here she comes. We'll put her up now. Let's have a look at her from above. So you can see delivery for British Rail after nationalisation. These were painted black. You can just about see the whistles on the top of the cab there. They're fairly well representative. I think they might be metal. Not too sure, but I think they are metal. Then we'll look at the front buffer beam there with the steam pipe. So my guess is if you've got the pipe on the front there, they would have also put passengers. Now, it's got sprung buffers. Seems a big hand of the helping hand coming there now. Yes, it's got sprung buffers. You wouldn't have seen them going in and out, but I'll show you they are sprung. Now, it's an 060, so it's got no leading wheels, no trailing wheels. It's got the 6 driving wheels there. And you can see the dome there, the large dome there, which you can see on a lot of the Great Western Railway engines. It's also got the unicycling lion on the back there. I'll just bring her around a little bit, see if we can see her well enough. Please excuse my lighting. Well, there we are. We've got a nice view of her as well there. And you can clearly see the crest now. Ours is number 2409. Okay. Let's just see. No, it's not the one that's preserved. Oh well. Okay, so let's bring it around a little bit more. And you can see there, it's got a lovely fully detailed cab. Everything's in there, all painted up, looks lovely. See the rather large lever there, I think that's a reversing lever. Everything's picked out, lovely. Now a lot of the details are quite fine on there. The handles on the tender, which we can just about see there, we can see them clearly enough now. They're actually made of wire, so they're a lot more fine than what you would see on some earlier locomotives. I mean, you can see on a much earlier locomotive, like you've seen there, they're made of plastic. They're not quite so fine, as you can see, but in the defence of the older model, of course, you've got the robustness of it. So that's comparing it to an older locomotive. That's a mainline mogul. Okay, but we're concentrating today on the steam goods. What a lovely loco. Okay, so now let's just bring her along a little bit, and we'll take a look at what we've got here. No, I think we leave her where she is just for a moment. That's a China clay wagon, what we're looking at there, and we'd like to see if we can find the box for it. So just bear with me just one moment. Just going to move a few objects and we'll take a look. We can just see. Yeah, in fact this is a Bachmann. The leading wagon there is a Bachmann 5-plank China clay wagon. There you can see the number there. This would have been something I would have bought in the mid-1990s if I remember rightly. Okay, it's got the standard Bachmann package in there with the inner plastic. The next wagon is a Royal Daylight, which is by Dapol. Okay, now Dapol, I was a little bit confused as to what the name should be on there, because on the box it actually does say Royal Delight, but in fact it's Royal Daylight, and that's a 12-ton tanker. I believe that would have taken oil. Now the next wagon, we'll just move along just slightly. The subject much very close to my heart. This is the next wagon is carrying beer. As you can see, is Watney's, a brand that disappeared, I think, in the 1980s, if I remember rightly. Well, it was certainly after the beer order made brewers sell all their pubs, and Watney's as a brand disappeared. I think it's making a comeback now, Watney's, in slightly different formula to when I can remember it. Some even my age, when I'm 63 now, might remember drinking things like Watney's Special and Watney's Starlight, which wasn't much stronger than Shandy, and Watney's Red Barrel, which I think this is what this particular locomotive is carrying. And we can take a look at the box in just a moment if I can. Yeah, there we are. That's a Lima. So that's a very, very old Lima model, because Lima stopped making locomotives and rolling stock in about 2004. And there, it's on the end of the box as a representation of the model. You didn't always get an idea of what was in the box from there, but that shows it's the right box. Okay, so we're coming slightly away from there. Please excuse my terrible camera work. It's appalling. Okay, now then, we'll move on to the next wagon. Hornby. This is probably from the 1990s, I guess. judging by the box. Hornby Railways, our 001 KP Nuts closed van. So, our train, got KP Nuts there. Can't see it very clearly there, I'm afraid, with the lighting's poor, but now last but not least, we've got the brake van, and that's a Bachmann brake van. A 20-ton towed brake van in BR grey. Bachmann. Again, I bought most of these were bought quite some time ago. In various modern railway shops in Bristol in the right from the early 1990s through to about 2003, 2004, and that's when sadly my modern railway began to spend more and more time in the attic due to lack of space in the house. You can see, I mean, this is the room I've got this in at the moment. You can see the problem, so that's why it's on a bed. Okay, but coming back to the train now. Again, all of these were various ages of wagons, but they're all very, very nice wagons, ones I wanted. I always have my heart set on a beer tanker wagon. So my train is carrying a couple of my favourites. I will admit to having a bit of a weakness for beer and a weakness for peanuts. So we're carrying beer and nuts. What's not to love? Okay, now as you can see, it's a very, very good runner. It ran perfectly well straight from the box, so literally out of the box onto the rails. Didn't need to muck about with it at all. Now the detail on this locomotive is a lot finer to a lot of the older locomotives. And there are, as with everything in life, there are plus and minus points with what you find. Now, I don't know if you can see it clear enough. You can just about see it there. It's got a separately fitted dart, it would appear. That's the handles that they would use to open up the locomotive smoke box. So that's the smoke box handles right in the middle there. And you saw the fine details of the cab and the whistles. And you can see the running gear, like the it's all quite fine there. Very, very good representation of the wheels. You've got the hook, the coupling hook, which would normally be used, but obviously we've got the standard coupler for coupling up with trains. Okay, I didn't fit the front coupler because I won't be running backwards with this train. Okay. Now I love watching my trains going round and round in circles, which is what I'm doing now. And we're going to be concentrating on just one locomotive because my a couple of my videos did run on a little bit. Okay, so I think I'll keep them between 10 and 15 minutes now if I can. And what I would say is that if you get as much pleasure from the hobby as I do, then you'll be having a great deal of enjoyment. We're in the middle of this lockdown. Well, we're hopefully reaching the beginning of the end of the lockdown because we're in January of 2021 now. I know that reviving my modern railway hobby has given me very much great deal of pleasure and enjoyment, and has helped me get through the lockdown. And I hope that if some of you are actually watching these videos, it's helped you to get through the lockdown too. And if it's inspired you to start with modern railways, then I cannot think of a nicer hobby to do. Okay, you can build up from very, very small beginnings as I did, and then build up to something like this. This is just a 6 foot by 4 foot layout. I mean, some people would have more room in their house. This is obviously a mobile layout, so I have to put this out every day and put it away at the end of the running session. You can see if it's possible for me to run a railway in this situation, then where there's a will, I'm sure there's a way. Alright, so I'm going to wind these up now. I bid you farewell from Breadstead Junction, and if you like what you see, press like. If you want to subscribe to see more videos. I will be making more videos in the future, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you, and goodbye.